Hey guys, this is Andy with Get Your Wellies. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about potting some seedlings today, so stick with me as we do that. But first of all, as always, why don't you get your wellies? Meet me in the garden. So guys, within this tray we have a lot of tomato plants. Some of them actually don't really look that great, and this is actually a good time to bring this point up to you if you're starting seeds and you're not familiar with it, or I am familiar with it but went away for about a week. Unfortunately, you know, without you being there and really looking at seeds very frequently, it's hard to ward off some problems. If you're here, you can deal with them right away. If you're not, you just have to kind of deal with it when you get back. But this is part of the thing about starting seeds, is it does require fairly frequent observation of them. Watering is kind of the minimum. You take a little bit of a gamble if you leave your seedlings alone for too long. So that being said, I mean, they're still alive, but what we're seeing, and I'm going to zoom in on a few of these just to show you. So some of these, you can see the leaves on these tomatoes. These are a Black Beauty. These leaves are still nice and dark and look pretty good, but next door, these seedlings here, those leaves are kind of yellowish and discolored. So these are the kind of symptoms you may see. You may also see some of the leaves drop off. There are some peppers in this tray too. These look perhaps just a little bit yellow, but not bad. So the main reasons you're going to see these kind of symptoms with seedlings, almost all the time, you need to look at how you're watering, and if that watering is inconsistent, you're going to tend to see yellowing of the leaves and dropping off of the leaves. Sometimes when they otherwise look okay, but there's just the color is off, they look healthy except for the color maybe, now it could be that you're running short on nutrients in the soil. Now, those of you who've watched the more recent videos will have seen where I put these in with a cocoa core, but it does have some nutrients in it, which is sort of unusual for cocoa core. It normally is a pretty inert type of starting media. So not only are these seedlings in a small space, in some of these cells, you can actually see there are more than one plant. There's 2 or even 3 in each cell. I always do that to just try and give me more options. Tomatoes and peppers are easy to kind of tease apart when you pot them, so we'll do that. But I think there's probably been a little bit of inconsistency in the watering. They've been on heat mats for when it gets really cold, so that may not have helped. It may have dried them out a little bit. So now's the time to pot them up. So here in this tray, these are the pots that I use. I can show you next to my hand. This is the size. So these are similar in size to what you would buy a single plant in the store for, a smaller plant. Similar size. Drainage holes in the bottom, and these are a good size to move up from your cells in your seed trays, and I would recommend doing these. This one has been used a couple of years. There's several new ones left in there, but you can reuse these. They're not just, you know, super tough. You can get them tougher and pay more for them, but I'm pretty gentle on this stuff so that I can use it again, so that's what I'm going to use for that. Now at this point we're going to want to use a potting mix. Do not use soil, garden soil, or dig soil out of your beds. That's not going to work for this. This is a light mix, and they're all pretty much of a muchness. This is just the one I've got here. There is some feed in it, so I'm not going to add any other feed until we actually move the plants outside. So this is not advocating this product necessarily, but it works fine, and that's what I have available. So, but if you can get a good price on any kind of potting mix, you're pretty much good to go on that. So be sure and label everything. Obviously in the seed trays, a row is fine. You can label one label for one row, but when you move them to their pots, this is a good time to make new labels, one for each pot. When you come to sell them or give them away, you want to be able to accurately show what you have there without any mistakes, and you can also use those tags when you put them out in your garden. Okay guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is take this seed tray out. We'll move this one out the way for a minute. And I'm going to move this one to the side, but I'll show you how I get those out in a second. So here we have our first cup, and the very first row of these tomatoes that I have over here is going to be Amish paste. So basically all you're going to do when you get ready to plant your seedling, you're going to just put a handful of soil in here in your pot. You want to press it down enough to make sure there's not any big air spaces in there, because that can mess up your watering a little bit. I just kind of not hard, but just pack it down just a little, and I've left a little space on top, maybe just over a centimeter or so there, centimeter. And then I'm going to make a little hole in here to approximate the size of my seedling pocket. Let's see that. So I'm going to work from this first row here. Make sure you can see it there. Okay, so we're gonna start here. This seedling over here is really not great, so I'm gonna pinch that one off. So you have to be a little tough. Now notice though, there's some roots on here that look okay. I could have salvaged that, but I'm not going to need all of these Amish paste, so we're going to ditch that one. And then I'm just going to, these have really nice little finger holes underneath, so I'm just going to push that pot out of there. And you can see that on this, there's actually pretty good root system here. That's not too bad. And I think this plant's going to be a lot happier in its new home. So I actually need to make that hole just a little deeper for this, and put a little bit more soil around it. Now this soil is just slightly damp. You could moisten it up more before you start. Some people like to do that. Just put a little bit more soil in this one. Also, if your plants are really leggy, really long and leggy, you can pot them a bit deeper, and I always pot them deeper when I move them out to their permanent spot. So that's the first one. But before we call that one done, we're gonna give it a label for the reasons I've already stated. So here's a label with Amish paste on it, and we're gonna pop that right in there. So this little guy's all labeled. Now you can tell already these containers are about 4 times, maybe even a little bit more, bigger than each seed pod. So we're not gonna have this, it's gonna take up a lot more room. So I will probably try leaving some of these out in the hoop house, maybe in my little covered bed out there, and just see if they do okay out there. So on this second one, you can see I buried it up further. This one was pretty leggy, and I'm actually, so far I've only taken one out of each pot. I'm probably just going to leave it like that, because I will use at least 5 of these myself, and then I'll give some away if I need to. Now I've shown these seed pods before that I'm using on the channel, and I will say I do think this is a great product. These are super tough. Believe these were Bootstrap Farmer. We're gonna lose that one. And they're really a good product. I really like the way the root systems grow in them. They don't curl up. And the other thing is that hole in the bottom that you can poke your finger through really makes it easy to get them out. Some of these cheap pods, you've got to like finagle them out with a kitchen knife, or if you do it with your fingers, you're probably going to damage some stuff. So I do like that about them, and I'll probably keep using those. Plus, you know, once you got them, you got them. They're going to be around for years. Okay, there's another Amish paste. So we're going to be able to fit 3 on each row here. You can see how this is going to make us a little shorter space. We're probably only going to get 18 in this whole tray over here. But you know, that's okay. We've got room in the garage for a few more. And actually, these plants are probably a little stressed today because it is a little sunny out here, and they haven't been out in the sun yet, so they're kind of getting their first hardening off a little bit too. So here's a couple of Chadwick cherries that I'm having to kind of tease those roots apart, but they come pretty easily. So we've got 2 of those there, and I'll plant this deeper just because of how long the stem is. So that, it's not crucial that you do that, but it does. It kind of helps the plant to get better root system, and the stem will be a little stronger. These need a little help when they're grown up anyway, because they climb all over the place. The one I had last year just went, I mean, really it went pretty wild, honestly. But we got a lot of good cherry tomatoes off of that. Now I still had seeds left from my Baker Creek order last year, so I didn't have to buy any more this year. But if you're interested in Chadwick cherry, it is featured on some other videos of mine. If you look at the ones for last year, on garden tours and stuff, it was very productive for me. I really thought it was a good tasting cherry, and that's actually available now. Either Burpee or Ferry Morse, one of them put it out this year. The first year I've seen it. Could have been out before, but first year I've seen it. So it is available in the big box stores too if you're interested in that one. So we still have a bout of bad weather coming this weekend supposedly, but that is going to take us to within the window of our last frost date. So I'm going to give these guys a chance to settle in and let their roots grow in this new soil. There should be enough nutrients in here for a little while, and then hopefully next week we can start watching that date really closely in our 10-day weather window and see what we expect to have happen then. So hopefully the next video will be going outside with at least some of these. Well guys, thanks for joining me today as we up-potted some seedlings. I'm probably going to put a few more seeds in to replace some of those that didn't do that great, but we've got quite a few that are up-potted back under lights because they did get exposed to some sun today. And the next phase with those, we'll let them grow a little bit and then we'll harden them off outside, and we'll talk about that later. So thanks again for joining me. Be sure and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. Share the video too if you liked it. And I will see you on the next episode of Get Your Wellies. Until then, bye now.